Goals from Ander Herrera and Paul Pogba were enough for United to waltz into the FA Cup quarter-finals with a 2-0 win. The Blues looked feeble and defensively short at the back as they lost in the FA Cup for the first time since their final loss to Arsenal in 2017. Maurizio Sarri will be under even more pressure than he was before, having lost heavily to Bournemouth and Manchester City in recent weeks. Express Sport has rated how the Chelsea players performed during their clash with United. Do you agree? Kepa Arrizabalaga 5/10 the Spaniard failed to deliver a convincing performance and was left stranded for Ander Herrera's first goal. He then got a palm to Paul Pogba's header, but failed to keep the Frenchman's effort out. Cesar Azpilicueta 5/10 failed to deliver a commanding performance as Chelsea struggled to get a foothold on the game. Found himself chasing Marcus Rashford's shadow for most of the second half and looks a shell of his former self in blue colours. David Luiz 4/10 another 2 goals conceded for Chelsea with the Brazilian in the side. Luiz seemed carefree at the back as 2 crosses were allowed into the box with no effort to get them away. Antonio Rudiger 5/10 the German is Chelsea's best defender, but was also lacking defensively against United. 2 free headers in the box for Herrera and Pogba doesn't look good on any centre-back. Marcos Alonso 2/10 the Spaniard isn't good enough defensively anymore and was at fault for both goals. He allowed Herrera to ghost in behind him for the first goal before Rashford was free to cross for Pogba down his flank for the second. N'Golo Kante 5.510 once again Kante was not effective being played out of his best position. And with Jorginho next to him, he had no help in trying to break down United's attacks. Jorginho 3/10 the Italian still isn't able to get a foothold on big games and generally looks weak in the middle of the park. He consistently misplaced passes as he was bypassed time and time again by United midfielders. Mateo Kovacic 4/10 the Croatian hasn't made a huge impression at Stamford Bridge since his debut against Arsenal in August. And put simply, it was another dreary performance by the Real Madrid loanee. Pedro 5/10 tried to cut through United's defenders on numerous occasions and showed invention, but ultimately couldn't impose himself on the game. He had one chance midway through the second half and couldn't convert as it was poked away from him. Eden Hazard 6/10 Chelsea's best player as usual, but he wasn't at his usual best. The Belgian always looked to create and get some momentum going for his team, but he couldn't conjure his usual magic. Gonzalo Higuain 4.510 the Argentine looked more lively than Alvaro Morata did for Chelsea, but he missed a free header in the first half. He then found it hard to get on the ball in the second half as Chelsea players reverted back to their sideways football. Subs Ross Barkley 5/10 the Evertonian couldn't muster anything of note when he came on in the 71st minute for Kovacic. Was largely thwarted by Paul Pogba, who was brilliant all game. Willian 4/10 came on and hit his first corner along the floor before misplacing a pass at the back for that United latched onto. Struggled to weave anything special for Chelsea and also floated a free kick into the stands. David Zappacosta NA. The Italian came on for Azpilicueta with 10 minutes to go and really did nothing. Chelsea player ratings versus Man United. Fullback gets 2 out of 10. Flop midfielder gets 3.